Hi everyone, it's Max and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So this week is Scallywagathon and I am starting my vlog a little bit early, and that's on Sunday because I just finished the book that I was hired to write a screenplay for. So now I can start fresh and start on the Scallywagathon. I thought first I'd go over my TBR because I didn't explain it super well in my August TBR just because it was the last readathon I was talking about and I was kind of ready to stop. But let's quickly go through. I have quite a few books on this week's TBR, and that means I have two paths that I'm planning on taking kind of simultaneously. So my first path, I start with number 3, Aye Aye Captain, and that's read a book with 2 eyes in the title. That's 10 rules for faking it. Those 2 eyes are there at the end, which works because the 2 other books on this TBR that even have eyes in them, it's only 1. So totally works. This is about a girl who it's her 30th birthday and she finds out her boyfriend's cheating on her, and she kind of makes these resolutions of like she's trying to get her life together and make it seem like she has her life together while she's crushing on her boss and like all this stuff happens. I think it's gonna be fun. It's longer than I thought it was. It's like almost 400 pages, which is not that big of a deal. But it's definitely longer than I was expecting, but I am really excited. It's an arc that I have and I can't wait to start it. The next prompt is 8, which is Volcano Bay, and that is to read a book that has exploded in popularity, and for this I'm going with Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker. I've already explained this multiple times in other videos, but it's a retelling of the Mahabharata about these 2 boys or princes who compete in this trial to become king, but they aren't the only ones who do it. A demon princess does as well, and they all win, and it throws the kingdom into absolute chaos. The next prompt is B, Lost at Sea, which is to read a book you've forgotten you own. Now, I didn't forget I owned this book. It's just multiple times when I was like traveling back and forth to my different houses, I forgot it, or I almost forgot it for videos. And that is Calamity Jane by the Lady Janies. I'm so excited. This is the last book in the Lady Jane series and can't wait. It's about Calamity Jane, but there are werewolves and I'm all here for it. Then the last prompt for my first path is Golden to Bloom number 10, which is a cover by. And for this, I'm going with Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. I think it's a gorgeous cover, and it's a Cinderella retelling, but from the stepsister's point of view. And now for my next path, it's because I'm also reading an anthology this week. I'm listening to 2 audiobooks, and I had another book on my TBR, and they all worked into this path, which is just, it was perfect. So the first prompt is 5 Ahoy Hearties, which is to featuring a friend group. And for this, it's more of a hope that All Out, which is an anthology of coming out stories throughout the ages, I'm really hoping has friend groups in some way. Next is again 8 Volcano Bay, a book that has exploded with popularity, and for this I'm going with The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. No, it has not exploded in popularity recently, but when it came out, it had exploded in popularity. And I kept hearing about it and I just never picked it up. And I need to. So yeah, that's my first audiobook that I'm going to be listening to. And then next is C, Crescent Island, which is to read a book with sirens or mermaids, and for this I'm listening to my second audiobook of the week, and that is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is obviously, you all know Peter Pan, right? It's very popular, and there's mermaids. And then the last prompt for my second one is again 10 Gold to Bloom, read a cover by, and for this I'm going with an ebook that I have called Bet Me by Lila Monroe, maybe something like that. And this is a gorgeous cover. I think it's an absolutely stunning cover. It's like purple and yellow. It's got a great color scheme. You know what? Let me just go through the NEWTS prompts again. How about that? So 10 rules for faking it is to see a book, the first book on your TBR. So I literally just went to my NetGalley shelf and just was like, what's the first book? Oh, there it is. And it was 10 rules for faking it. The second book, Upon a Burning Throne, is to read a book by an author with a different race than you. And then Calamity Jane is to read a book that is longer than your previous book, which it is not longer than Upon a Burning Throne at all. But it is longer than the book before it in the prompts list, which is to read an impactful book, which I read, Dear Ijawele, and that was like only 100 pages, and this is a lot longer. So that's how I'm going with it. And then Stepsister is to start a book with T. And then All Out is to read a book with an author that's name starts with D. One of the multiple authors' names has a D. Starts with D. I can't remember his first name or last name, but it's a D. Haha. Loneliest Girl in the Universe is to read a book with stars on the cover and the title. And Peter Pan is to read a classic. And Bet Me is to read a contemporary. So those are my plans. That's 8 books. This should go fine. I don't really have a lot of plans. I am working. My dad's gonna be gone on Wednesday, so I've got the house to myself. So that can be very conducive to reading a lot, hopefully. Let's hope. I'll talk to you all later. Bye. Hi everyone, it's Monday, so I'm taking a quick break from work to kind of go over what I've been reading. I have not read a lot since I last updated you. I am 11% of the way through 10 Rules for Faking It. Is for the prompt Aye Captain to read a book with 2 eyes in the title, and it has exactly 2 eyes. But I also looked at All Out, the anthology that I have to read this week, which goes for Ahoy Matey to read a book with a friend group. And it has 17 short stories, so I am going to be reading 3 a day. I'm going to try and do that at lunch and then get as far into 10 Rules for Faking It as I can. And then I'm also an hour and 40 minutes into The Loneliest Girl in the Universe, which so far I'm enjoying. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's fine. I don't really have an opinion yet, but I am really excited to continue all of them. I'm feeling good about this week, honestly. I'm really excited about all the books that I'm reading. I'm really hoping I'm going to enjoy all of them, and we'll see how the week goes. But I'll talk to you all probably at the end of my lunch to talk about where I've gotten with everything. Hi, so I did not update you at 2, but that's just because there are people in my house and I didn't want to. So I read 3 stories from All Out and I enjoyed all of them. And already I'm just like, yes, this is already so much better than the Midnight Circus from last week that I just did not like. But yeah, so those are good. And I'm enjoying the 10 Rules for Faking It. I was able to get to page 120. And so I'm really excited to keep reading that. Both my mom and stepdad are out of the house. So there's no, my stepdad just came in. So I'm gonna talk a little bit quieter. But I'm about to get changed and go to the gym. It is so hot out. I am sweating. It's like 90 something degrees and I want to die. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to the gym where I know it's nice and AC filled. And then I'm gonna come home, take a shower, and continue reading 10 Rules for Faking It. Yeah, so that's about all I've got, and I'll talk to you later. Hi. It's 11:30 and I just finished 10 Rules for Faking It and didn't love it. I really liked the first amount of pages. I don't really know how many, but definitely like 65% of it I really enjoyed. I was super into it, but then it just went so downhill. The main character had no character development. She had one scene where she did something, and the rest of the time she was just so stupid and naive and hypocritical. She's like this whole time been like, I wish my parents just decided whether or not they wanted to be married or divorced. Then when she finds out that the love interest had been divorced, she freaks out. And it's like, oh my god, he can't have been divorced. That means he went back on his word. And it's like, you want your parents to be divorced. And he asks her, he's like, well, would you rather me be miserable? She's like, well, no, but you shouldn't have gotten married in the first place then. And it's like, he was 21. It's like, people make stupid decisions and mistakes. And she never changed. And I feel, I don't know, she's scared of like people holding things over her head, but she holds things over their heads all the time. And she just drove me insane. There's one scene where I was like, yes, but then she, like finally, but then she just didn't change at all. Didn't really, yeah, no, didn't change at all. She just, I don't know, she just wasn't, she said she wanted to change, but then she really didn't. There's no character development, there was none. And she didn't even, and I get that she has this overwhelming social anxiety. And that would have been okay if by the end she had decided to see someone about it or done something about it, or I don't know, but done something. Because she recognizes that it's a debilitating fault, not fault, a debilitating issue. She recognizes it the whole book, but she refuses to do anything about it. Her friend, there was one conversation and I so wished it had come up more. Her friend literally is like, why don't you get help? Like, but not in a rude way, like in a constructive, like, do you ever think maybe you want to get help for this? And it's never talked about again. And it's like, she should, because it just affects, it takes over her life. It has totally taken over her life. And by the end of it, it doesn't feel like anything has changed. She complains about it. She knows that it's a problem. She apologizes for it all the time. It's like, well, then why don't you want to do anything to help it, to make it better? I didn't like her. I liked her for so much of it. And then the last like 30%, I was like, I don't feel like she made enough development throughout the book for it to feel any sort of satisfactory. I'm so sad though, because I loved the plot. I really liked the romance, and I liked her for so much of the book. I think it's just because I was like, okay, when's the character development gonna start? And then it never did. And it just did not sit well with me. So it's probably 2.75 because I liked the plot. I loved Chris, but I'm going to end today here. It's still Monday, and I'm going to start Upon a Burning Throne tomorrow, which I am so excited for, and I'll talk to you all later. Good night. Good morning. It is Tuesday, and it's 9:40. I just want to update you guys that I finished The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. I was listening to the audiobook, and I just finished it. It was okay. It was pretty average, honestly, which I think that's a lot of the reviews that I've heard of it. I'm probably gonna give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked Romy, our main character, quite a lot, but I mean, and I like her naivete makes sense when given that she's been like living literally all alone on this spaceship since she was 11. And so like that I didn't really have a problem with. The plot itself was pretty predictable and it was fine. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. I am interested in Lauren James and what else she has to write because I did like her writing style and I thought it was fine. But yeah, so that was for the volcano explosion one, which is like a book that has exploded in popularity, for my second trail. And then I am sorry if you hear that. My dad is weed whacking. But now I'm going to, I mean, this is more at lunch, like not right now, but I'm going to read my 3 stories of All Out and then start Upon a Burning Throne. And I'll talk to you later. Guys, look. Allie from Hardback Hoarder commented on my video. Freaking out. I'm so excited. Can't believe it. Yeah, that's like, wow. Made my day. That's so exciting. I'm so pumped. I love Allie's videos, especially because I'm literally in the middle of the Scallywagathon right now, which is her readathon. This is just a lot of fun. I'm also completely and totally obsessed with Folklore by Taylor Swift. Is anyone surprised? And is anyone who likes Taylor Swift not obsessed? It's so good. Mad Woman is literally my favorite thing ever. I can't stop listening to it. I saw a Folklore book tag. I really want to do it. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested to see, or connecting Folklore songs to books. But yeah, so I will talk to you later. Hi everyone, it is Wednesday. I did not update you at all yesterday after I finished The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. But I am 300 pages into Upon a Burning Throne and I'm really enjoying it. I gotta like stop trying to compare it to the Mahabharata because honestly I cannot remember enough of what happens in that to like really like connect them, because I keep trying. I need to stop trying to connect it to the Mahabharata because I don't remember enough of like how exactly stuff happens in that book to like compare it, because I keep trying to be like, okay, and is this character this person or is this character this person? I'm like, okay, I just gotta stop. I just gotta stop because I keep getting it mixed up with like other Hindu texts, so I've just gotta like read this as its own thing. But my battery's flashing, but it is surprising me how accessible it is. I kept expecting it to be like really high fantasy, very flowery, very like whimsical, but it's not. It's actually very accessible, and that surprised me and I'm enjoying it. I also started Peter Pan, the audiobook for Read a Book with Sirens or Mermaids, and I'm reading more of All Out and I'm enjoying it. I will talk to you all later. Oh, here he comes. Oh, here he comes. Excuse the extremely heavy breathing. Yeah, he's a very heavy breather. Yeah. Oh, here. Hi. Anyways, hi. It's later on Wednesday. It's 7:40. I'm just sitting down to read Upon a Burning Throne. I'm so excited. I'm about this far. I have 260 pages to go. 360 pages to go. So we will see. There he is. Can you see him? He's a hard breather. But I'm gonna read for as long as possible. Probably won't be till the end of the night, just because that's late and I still have one more story to read of All Out, but that's not gonna take long. He's like louder than my fan. Okay, so yeah, I'll check in with you later. Well, I have just come to the startling realization that I had my Hindi mythological texts mixed up. And while I have read parts of the Mahabharata, the story that I was thinking of was the Ramayana. So when I'm trying to connect these people, I'm like, oh, so this is the person. I'm like, oh my god, that's not even the right mythical text. Love that. So I'll talk to you later. He grasped her by the shoulders, eliciting a soft gasp from her lips, pulled her down upon himself, entering and spearing her most tender space with his bull-hard malice. Oh my god, what is that? What is that? There were trigger warnings of non-consensual sex because they thought that it's like two characters had sex with other people thinking it was each other. I think they were enchanted. So like it was non-consensual in that they thought they were having sex with someone else. It's not great. So yeah, that's all I got. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night. Hi, it's Thursday. I've had a pretty uneventful day. It's probably almost 4. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, 3:56. So I have an hour left of work and I'm almost done editing my Midnight Sun review. My Midnight Sun reading vlog, which is gonna go up today. It's a day late just because I miscalculated my life and I was like, okay, you know, I don't really need to edit and upload it till tomorrow being Wednesday. And then I remembered like, oh my god, wait, I can't upload stuff at my dad's house because the internet upload is so slow. So I just edited it and now I'm gonna be going to my mom's house and I will upload it there. I realize how annoying my voice is when I'm trying to kind of talk quietly. It's awful. So either I have to stop chatting at night, which I do most of my reading at night, so that's not gonna happen, or I'm just gonna have to make do with talking at my normal volume because it's super annoying. But so far today is I have almost finished Peter Pan, which goes towards the read a book with sirens or mermaids. There's just a couple scenes with mermaids, but they're in there. And I've read 3 stories today. I had to read one from last night because I totally forgot to read it last night. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower, then I'm gonna read the last story and then go to sleep. And I totally forgot to read the last story. So yeah, so I read that today. Oh, the Robin Hood one, loved. I thought it was super good. It's Every Shade of Red. I thought it was very, very good. I'm a big fan of like Robin Hood and Will being like love interests. And Robin was transgender. Will is deaf. And yeah, I really, really liked it. I could read a whole book about them, especially because it ended on a cliffhanger, which we love. But other than that, so I have to finish Upon a Burning Throne and 2 more stories of All Out. And I think it's okay. And also film my Midnight Sun review. Okay, I have 110 pages left and it's okay. I don't know. I'm like, something about it is just not hitting the mark for me. One, the queen or empress is just, I don't like her at all. It's like you're supposed to be ruling this country, but it's like she refuses to heed warnings. She's like, oh, we've already had so many bad times. Stop talking about the bad. And it's like, okay, but this could be way, way bad. She just refuses to listen to it. It's like, you're the friggin' empress. Like, get your act together and, you know, hear the truth. Stop trying to forget about it just because it doesn't fit with what you want it to be. And it's just, I think she's gonna screw over the entire kingdom. One thing that I wish so this isn't a spoiler because it's literally in the synopsis, but so 3 children are placed in the fire trials and 3 come out alive and we only follow the 2 brothers, and I really wish we could see the girl's point of view. She's the friggin' demon princess. Like, why can't we see her? I do have a hypothesis about this. I'm not gonna say what because that's a spoiler, but I hear it ends on quite the cliffhanger, and I'm hoping that we have met the demon princess and she has been part of the story, just kind of like undercover. That's what I'm hoping for right now, because it's just like, why aren't we following her at all? We're just following these men and their wives who are cool, but I kind of want more from her because she's supposed to be kind of like, you know, the daughter of the villain, and it's like, well, how's her life? What's her life been like? There's not much exposition. Like, a whole bunch of time passes. I couldn't tell you, well, 6 years pass, actually. I can tell you exactly how long in between parts. And it's like, so when did all this stuff happen? When did they get married? When did this happen? And I just wish that there's a little bit more explanation into time, and like, I wish things that happen behind the scenes happen, like we read them. Like, we keep being told that stuff happened, and I wish that we would have read that that happened. And I'm going to finish Upon a Burning Throne, and I'll talk to you later, but I did realize that I forgot to tell you about Peter Pan. So I finished Peter Pan. It was average. I did not like it as much as the first time. I think I probably lowered my rating. I think my rating was like a 4 and I lowered it to a 3. You know, I don't know. I just thought it was pretty boring. Racist against Native Americans, but I think everyone knows that from the movie. And yes, there is a little bit of forgiveness you can give classics because back then it was the norm, but I still did not love it. There were mermaids. Geese are flying by. There were mermaids in a few scenes, but that's about it. But I'm going to finish Upon a Burning Throne and I'll check back in. Okay, I have 80 pages left, but something that kind of annoys me about this book and this author is that he waited 586 pages to give us more background on the prince's moms, and I wish we had it from the beginning. Because, you know, I've spent this whole time thinking that they're terrible mothers, that they suck, that they should have been better, like why don't they love their sons, till you learn that they were princesses abducted. They were kidnapped, forced to become princesses of the main character's nation. And then when their husbands died, the Dowager Empress sent her other son through this, I don't know how this works, but she had a son were marrying the emperor, and she sent her son to impregnate them. And it's like literally says, it could be argued that they considered themselves raped and impregnated against their will. There were some who had said so openly, though of course never in the presence of Jelana or Vrath. Well, yeah, they were kidnapped, forced to marry these guys. I'm sure shared their bed or were forced to share their bed, and then were raped and impregnated by her other son. And it's like, some would say, or you could say, it's like, no, they totally were. And you're not supposed to like them. Like, you're supposed to spend this whole book not liking these two women because they sucked as moms to our main characters, but then you learn that they're totally in the right. And I don't know. I'm not loving this. It's okay. It's okay. Honestly, even though so much has happened, I don't feel like there's much of a plot. Like, it just kind of, I don't know, feels so meandering. Like, and then they did this, and then they did this, and then they did that. Like, the first 100 pages were really action-packed. A lot of plot, a lot of stuff happened. There was war, there was fighting, there was all this good stuff. And now the next like 400 pages, not a lot's happened. I don't really like either of the princes all that much. Like, they're fine, but I find them very average. And I really just want the demon princess's point of view, and I don't know why we haven't gotten it. What happened to her? Because we get her dad's point of view, and I'm like, I don't care about her dad. Give me her. But I'm going to finish this now, and I will talk to you when I'm done. I just finished the book. It was all right. I like the idea. I just don't think the writing really works for me. I think it's kind of boring. I feel like as for something as huge and epic as this, and as the series is probably going to be, I wanted more from the writing, from the characters, from the plot, but I feel like we didn't get enough of any of it. Like, I still couldn't tell you that much about the characters, you know, except a few little things. And then the plot, what is the plot? Like, I feel like there isn't a plot. I feel like it's just like there's some fighting, there's some living, there's some sex, there's some rape, I just don't feel like it's going towards anything. I really wanted to see what was happening with the third heir to the throne, the demon princess, because that's like this big thing that started this war. It's like, okay, well, where is she? What's she doing? I thought it was going to be someone. It wasn't. And I'm just like, okay, so she's literally completely unimportant, which sucks because, I don't know, I kind of wanted to root for her, or, you know, just get her side of the story, but we don't. We get like 2 chapters from her dad's point of view. And I don't know, on a whole, I just think it was kind of disappointing. I don't know, I read that there was supposed to be this big cliffhanger at the end, and honestly, I don't think it's much of a cliffhanger. Like, yeah, I mean, no, it doesn't end all wrapped up and pretty, but like, I'm not dying for the next one like I hoped I'd be. But now I'm going to sleep, and tomorrow I'm picking up My Calamity Jane, which I'm so excited about. I'm just looking for a fun, funny, wild ride, and I really hope I'm gonna get it. So I will chat with you all tomorrow because I am exhausted and I'm going to go to bed. Good night. Hi guys, so it's Friday, it's 4:30, and I was just checking in. I am 60 pages into My Calamity Jane. I'm enjoying it, it's fine. The kind of inciting incident has just happened, and yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. Still, so far, My Lady Jane's my favorite, and I just have a feeling that it's going to stay that way because, as we all know, I'm very interested in the Tudor era, and the shape-shifting aspect was really interesting, and it was funny. This I haven't found funny yet, but that could all change very quickly. I have been doing work, obviously. Fridays are always a bit slower than the other days, which is surprising. I'd think it would be the opposite, right? But no. But tonight, my only real plan is to finish filming my Midnight Sun review because my stepdad got home early and I don't know, I was a little embarrassed, so I stopped filming. So I gotta finish that. Finish My Calamity Jane, which I have 150 pages left. It should not take me too long. It's very fun. It's fast-paced. I get through these books very fast. And even if I don't finish it all today, I can like finish it tomorrow. And it's Saturday, so I'll have time to read Stepsister. And then if I don't fully finish Stepsister tomorrow, I can read that as well as Bet Me on Sunday because Bet Me is very short. So that's the plan for the rest of the week. I thought I would kind of also update you and remind you of the prompts. My Calamity Jane is Lost at Sea, read a book that you forgot you had. Stepsister is something, the prompt is something about gold, and it's to read a cover by. I did buy Stepsister solely based on the cover, and same with the book that I'm reading next for the other path that I'm taking. Bet Me is also to read a book that you bought because of the cover. The cover of Bet Me is gorgeous. I love, it's like purple and pink, and it's got these great colors. But yeah, so that's the plan. I don't have any more audiobooks. I was thinking about looking one up, like to see if anything else that I'm reading this month has an audiobook. So I did have one more thing to say. I got a graduation present in the mail from my neighbor, and it's a little open book. Let's see if I can focus on it. It's this little open book. Isn't this adorable? I think it's just so pretty. It's handmade, sterling silver. She kind of custom made it. I love it. And this neighbor knows about my booktube channel, and so I think it's just absolutely perfect. But anyways, I'm going to read until I get either things to do for work or until it hits 5. Head to my mom's house, finish filming my Midnight Sun review, and then, well, read more of this. And then it's supposed to go up tomorrow, so I might try and edit it. No, I am going to try and edit it tonight so that it can have all the time in the world to go up. And I will talk to you all later. So my thoughts on My Calamity Jane. Well, stuff was just happening that was really annoying me, like miscommunication and no one actually telling anyone anything, but it has kind of gotten better. And I just thought that a lot of this stuff was gonna be like secrets that were gonna be kept for like the whole book from each other, and it was gonna get like really frustrating because, you know, I hate miscommunication, but it wasn't. It's like now like basically everything's out in the open. and that's nice because I like that a lot better. Another thing is I started Cabin at the End of the World on audiobook, and I honestly had no idea what this was about, but I do now. It is about this family, these two dads and a little girl who are like renting this cabin, and these people show up at their cabin being like, we're really sorry, but we need your help to save the world, but I think they've got to like kill them or something. They just got to the cabin. The bad people have just started threatening the family. So honestly, I don't really know what else is gonna happen. I'm enjoying it though. Really fast paced. It's a short book. It's like 270 something pages. So it's for arithmancy to read a book between 260 and 290 something pages, something like that. And it's in there. It's in the range. But yeah, so I'm gonna get to editing. So it is 11:40 and I'm on page 322 and not loving it. I don't know, it's getting a little weird. It's just like, I don't know, I'm just not loving where it's going. I don't really feel like the characters are all being super irrational. No, I'm sorry, one character is being super irrational, and it's Calamity Jane. And she's being ridiculous and not listening to reason at all. And it's just like, because it's bad news, she refuses to believe it or hear it. And it's like, well, sorry, honey, but that's life. It's like, girl, figure out where your loyalties lie. Like, either with this person who you barely know, or these people who you've lived with and worked with for so long that they are your family. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, it is Saturday, and I just finished my Calamity Jane. Didn't love it. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty average, honestly, especially compared to the last two in the series. But I'm really excited for now it's gonna be like my something Mary. So it was my plain Jane and everything. Now it's gonna be my blank Mary. The first one's gonna be Mary, Queen of Scots, which I'm very excited about. I will probably update you when I make more progress in Stepsister, I guess.
Who will not be joining us next week.
Oh man, this is fried mac and cheese. Why is there so much cilantro on it? I hate that. That's disgusting. But yeah, this looks amazing. I cannot wait to bite into this. I think it's gonna be delicious. Hi everyone. It's 9:34, but I'm just sitting down to pick up Stepsister. And I have a bottle of berry iced tea. It just says sit down with a cup of tea. And I chose iced tea. At least I hope. Hopefully they didn't say hot tea. You know, I'm just gonna count it either way, because that's what my life has come to. But yeah, it is either expired or don't have enough water because it's not fully dissolving. Hopefully that just stays at the bottom and I don't get sick. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna drink. And then I'm gonna pick up Stepsister and everything's gonna work out just fine. I'll talk to you probably when I finish. Okay, I only have 100 pages left and it's fine. I'm finding it quite average. I like our main character. I think she's going through some nice character development, but kind of everything else is pretty lackluster. I don't really understand the villain's purpose, not purpose. I don't understand the villain's motivations. Like, I'm still like, why does she want what she wants and why is she doing what she's doing? Because I feel like it's not explained well enough or at all. And it's just, I like the idea of her as a villain, but I wish it was better explained. And she keeps alluding to this like big bad thing, and I thought it was like a monster or like a god sort of situation, but I'm pretty sure he's like just a man, and that surprised me because I thought it was gonna be more. But it's okay. I only have 100 pages left. I don't really know what's gonna happen. I don't really understand. Like, I understand the end goal, but like, I don't know why the villain is fighting it so much. I just don't really get the motivations of a lot of these characters and what'll happen if what the main character wants to happen comes to pass, if that makes sense. I don't know what the repercussions will be, or if there will be any. I don't know. And I'll see, and I'll update you guys. It's thoroughly average at the moment. I think right now it'd be like a 3 out of 5 stars, and I don't see that changing probably at all. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish this. It's 11:35, and then I will chat with you when I'm done. All right, it's 12:30 and I just finished Stepsister, and the last 100 pages really did bring it around. I still don't really understand the motivation of the main villain. I feel like it was kind of just not great, you know. It felt inconsequential almost, like she was just toying with a human for fun almost, and I didn't love it. But I did really like all these characters coming together, and everything that had been happening throughout the book kind of all got tied together. It did wrap up pretty easily. I think it's like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'll put it as a 4 on Goodreads, but yeah, 3.5. So yeah, that means I have finished one of 2 routes for the Scallywagathon. That's great. I have 2 more books I want to finish, and that's All Out, which is for Read a Book with a Good Friend group. And yes, there have been stories in this that have good friend groups, so there we go. And then Bet Me, which is also for Read a Cover By. But I'm gonna go to bed. I might try and read some more of All Out before I actually fall asleep, but this is definitely the last update of the night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Something terrible has happened. So next week I am picking up the Book of Dragons. It is an anthology of short stories, and it's to read a hardcover. And I opened it up, and the first story is by Jane Yolen. For those of you who don't remember or didn't watch last week's reading vlog, she wrote The Midnight Circus, which was an anthology that I hated. I hated it. And she is the first story of the Dragon anthology. Oh, no. How could this happen? Hi guys, it's Sunday, and I am 50% of the way through Bet Me. Not loving it. I really like the main romance, but everything else is pretty lackluster. His friend is offering $50,000 to the person who can like get her off this streak, and or this strike, and it's just not great. And I think it's very sexist because his friend has a wife, right, who just had a baby, and she decides to go on the strike, and he's freaking out. It's like, she just had a baby, like, cool your shit. And he's freaking out because he can't get any. Oh. And then like his friend, who's the main love interest, is like, well, cut her off, cancel her credit cards and see what happens. It's like, so you're gonna blackmail her into having sex with you? Like, that's not great. That's not good. I don't know why I said great. That's not good. That's, I don't know. It's just not good. That's bad, and I just don't love that, and I hate that it's the main love interest who suggested it, because usually he's been like, dude, she's not a piece of meat, like, this is not a good idea, like, what are you doing? But no, for his own wife, for this guy's wife, he's like, oh yeah, cut off her credit card, she'll have to have sex with you then. It's like, not great. And I can already tell what the like big conflict at the end is gonna be, because the main character has no idea about this challenge that the guys put out. And it's not a spoiler because it's literally in the synopsis, like this challenge is in the synopsis, but it's just, yeah, I'm liking the main love relationship because I think it's very steamy, but everything else is pretty lackluster. Okay everyone, it's 8:30 on Sunday, and I thought I'd wrap up this vlog because I just finished Bet Me and All Out. So Bet Me, it had kind of the opposite effect as 10 Rules for Faking It, where I progressively liked it more and more. And the characters had good character development, including the jerk who set the whole challenge up. And I did really end up enjoying it. And the romance was very steamy and really good, and I really liked it. I did end up giving it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars because it was nothing like that special, but I did have fun. And then all out, I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it a lot, but you know, I didn't think it warranted a 5 out of 5 stars. So let's wrap up the week, including the challenges that they went for NEWTS, Scallywagathon, and Tome Topple. So the first book I finished this week was 10 Rules for Faking It, which was for Aye Captain to read a book with 2 I's in the title, and then also for NEWTS to read the first book on your TBR that you saw. I just went on to NetGalley, and the first book that I saw was 10 Rules for Faking It. And I also gave this probably a 3.25 out of 5 stars. That's what I'm thinking. Then I read Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, which I really wanted to love, but it was a big disappointment, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And it went towards read a book that exploded in popularity. And then for Tome Topple's read the biggest book on your TBR, which it was for Tome Topple, but it wasn't for the NEWTS. That's coming up next week. And then for NEWTS, it was to read a book by an author that's a different race than you. And then the next book I read was Calamity Jane by the Lady Janies. And this went towards NEWTS to read a standalone, because even though it is part of a series, it's a standalone novel within that series. So I'm counting it. And then for NEWTS, it is to read a book longer than the previous book. And I am going to say that it is bigger than the last prompt in the herbology section, which was Ijuwele, A Feminist Manifesto, because that was 100 pages and Calamity Jane was 518. So that's how I'm putting it, because it's not shorter than Upon a Burning Throne, but that's how I'm counting it. And then for the last book for this section was Something About Gold, which was to read a cover by Now Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. And then that also went towards NEWTS to start a book with T. And I end up giving this probably a 3.75 out of 5 stars. And then the second track that I did, it started with read a book with the friendship group, and I chose All Out. There were stories with friendship groups, so I'm counting it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And All Out went towards read a book with an author whose name started with D. One of the stories, the author's name started with D. Literally only one. And then I listened to read a book that exploded in popularity, and for NEWTS to read a book with stars on the cover, and that was The Loneliest Girl in the Universe, which I gave a 3.25 out of 5 stars. Then I listened to another audiobook, which was for NEWTS to read a classic, and for Scallywagathon to read a book with mermaids or sirens, and I read Peter Pan, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. And then the last book in the Scallywagathon was to read a cover by, and for NEWTS it was to read a contemporary, and I read Bet Me, which I also gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So I hope you all enjoyed this vlog. Please stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!